Hi everybody, it's Audrey. Welcome to my channel for the Summer Scrappin' series. Today is day 20 of 21, and I have two guests today, some more very talented scrappers, Claire Murphy and Lisa Kingston. So please go check out their channels linked below. So I am going to start in Silhouette Studio, and I wanted to have a cut file that was made of waves, but I wanted them to be really organic and not perfect. So I opened Silhouette Studio and I picked the drawing pencil tool, and I went over to my line style and I made the line really thick. And I played around with a little bit with if I wanted rounded corners or pointed corners, and I'm just drawing some wave shapes here. And then I tried with the smooth brush and then the brush that kind of fits the line for you. And I wanted it a little bit thicker than what the pen wrote. So I went over to the sidebar and I selected the offset and tab, or button rather, and I selected external offset to make the waves a little bit thicker. So I play around with this for a little bit, and I just thought I'd show you. This is a really simple way. If you like the doodly cut file kind of look, play around with the pencil tool, because it might look kind of, sketchy and really, I don't know, really simple, and on the software here. But once you actually cut them out, cut files, and start playing with them, and they just kind of come to life on your page. So, like I said, I selected the offset tool, the external offset, made those lines a little bit thicker, and then I played around with stretching them out a little bit, and the length of each of the files, and I really like how these waves look. So then I traced each one just by going to the trace feature and tracing my shapes, and I'm going to cut eight waves. Actually, I do 9 because I thought that I wanted one more really big one. So I take all the ones I had arranged so far. I'm going to put one more big one on there. And I'm going to arrange them on my page in this order. Well, I think I am anyway. And my plan is to kind of use some papers in kind of an ombre tone. So I went through my stash, and you can see there to the left all of the little waves I cut out. And I used a ton of different papers. There's a lot of Basic Gray and Echo Park and Basic... did I say Basic Gray? Did I say Echo Gray? What did I say? Basic Gray, Echo Park, a couple others, and on my background paper is a pink paisley paper from one of their summer collections from a couple years ago. And at first I was playing around with the blue background you can see there, the cardstock, but I just thought the tone-on-tone, the blue monochromatic look was just too much, so I picked something that contrasted, and that was this peach and yellow background. I covered it with gesso, and now I'm just using some mixed media, some Heidi Swapp Color Shine in Seafoam and Teal, and I'm just going to mix those up, and those are going to pick up on the blue a little bit. And I used the packaging technique, but then did go through with my brush to kind of blend a little bit better. And this is a navy, I think that's a Maya Road mist. And I will give a little dry with the heat gun. And then I decided I wanted to blend in that navy a little bit more, just to add a little bit darker contrast. So it did start to dry, but I just added a little bit more water and blended some of those navy dots in, just to kind of make it a tiny bit darker, just because I thought it was a little too light. And I wanted to kind of pick up on some of the navy strips that I had. So once that dried, I went back with my Basic Gray and Echo Park strips and laid them out. And here are my two photos. And the reason also that I picked kind of a peachy yellow background paper is my photos have a very strong green tint to them. The water that day, maybe it was just the angle I was at, but it looked really green and not so blue. So I didn't want to, that minty colored paper really made it look even more green. So I'm going to kind of, that's why I wanted to go with the peach background. So I'm just taking a piece of scrap paper here to mat my photos. So these photos are of my daughter attempting to ski, and she is on water ski, on kids' skis. She was 8 at the time, She was so nervous, but she just kept trying and trying, and she never really got up. She got so close so many times, and she was at one point she was kind of given a fit, saying, "I want to quit, I want to quit, I don't want to do this anymore," kind of crying. We're like, "Just keep trying, keep trying," and she did, and I was really proud of her. And we haven't done it yet this year. I don't know if we're going to, because she kind of, after the whole situation, she was like, I don't know if I want to do that again. It's tough. If you've never water skied before or tried, it's a lot harder than it looks, I think, anyway. And it really tests your arm muscles, that's for sure. Okay, back to my page. I edge distressed the mats for my photos, and I really distressed them, and I actually started curling back the edges a little bit so that you could see the navy in the back, and I liked how that looked. And I'm going to go ahead and glue these waves down, because I kind of like how I have these laid out. And again, you can see I go from dark on the bottom to light on the top, and I purposefully placed my papers that way on my cutting mat when I went to cut them. Okay, so I'm going to do a few more splatters, and now the job of embellishing. What am I going to use to embellish this? This series is a little bit difficult sometimes. Oh, I stitched. I forgot. Machine stitch with a scallop stitch and some blue thread. I was going to say that this series is a little bit difficult for me sometimes because I tend to work by collection. Like I'll take one collection and all the chipboard and die cuts and stickers for that collection, the papers, and I can whip out a page pretty quickly. For this series, I have like a pile or I guess a huge bag of summer stuff, and some of it goes together and some of it doesn't. I also do have some summer collections that I keep by collection, but I tend to, for every page, I tend to go through all of my things to find the perfect thing that matches, and it just takes me so long to do these pages. But I guess it's worth it in the end. The end result of having a page that I love. So I pulled out some stickers. This sticker is from an Echo Park sheet, and a couple other embellishments, some tags, and Bella Boulevard stickers. And then my title, I already knew what my title was going to be before I started the page, and it was going to be Try Again. And I went through my stash, and I really dug deep in my sticker stash, and I found these old Heidi Swapp acrylic letters. And one of them is kind of like this teal blue color, and I liked that. And I'm going to, again, play with we'll play with the different size and scripts of fonts, which I really like doing that. I think it makes your title so much more dynamic when you mix up the fonts and maybe even the colors like I did there. I wish the teal, the color of the letters matched a little bit better with the blue papers, but it's fine. So I was trying to find a journaling spot. There's a lot I could say about this photo, but I'm going to leave it short and sweet, so I'm just going to use a small circle. Sometimes I have to admit that I sacrifice words, journaling words, for design. Meaning, like, I could have probably written a lot about this page, but I'm not going to devote a lot of space to journaling. A lot of this is in the process for me, not necessarily, every little detail. So, but sometimes it is. I guess it depends on the story. But anywho, I thought perhaps some wood veneer items might go good with this page. And it does, but it was just starting to, I don't know, get too busy. You see I have some wood tags there. I'm playing with this anchor piece of wood veneer right now that I actually don't end up using. I thought painting it white might make it a little bit more soft, but I didn't like how that looked, so I was just wiping it off there when I was gone for a second. I thought maybe adding another little anchor piece, but I stick with this piece of Aqua Flare there. And then maybe a little gold bit. You can see I have a gold tag in the bottom photo. You can really see that reflection off the tag there. So to kind of create a visual triangle of gold, I add another little gold heart by the word try, and I'll glue down those letters. I'm going to go over those letters with some more stitching, so that's why I don't think that liquid glue would hold those letters by themselves. if I didn't stitch over them. I mean, it would for a while, but I think eventually they kind of like peel off. So I always stitch over or staple those letters because the liquid glue just isn't great for them, I don't think. So I'm going to start adhering things to the page. I took this little set of tags I had and found some twine, which has a little gold thread in it, again to pick up on just a tiny bit of the gold. And I thought about using those tags for journaling, but they're so teeny that I wouldn't get much on there, so I'm just going to kind of leave them as decoration. And then I am adhering some craft foam to the back of the photo to pop it off the page. I have to cut that corner of the foam out because it was overlapping the other photo and I wanted to have them even in height, so I didn't want them overlapping each other, or I didn't want them, you know, on top of each other at different heights. So I'll play around with this string a little bit. That's the thing. I like that little tag, but the string, like, which direction do you put the string? You just let it go natural, or do you try to, you know, put it in a particular spot so it doesn't cover up any words or important parts of the photo? So I'm going to kind of just pull it down to the bottom a little bit and leave it there. And what else? So I do go back and I stitch over the word try, and I also added a coral colored anchor, which you will see in the final picture coming up here, and maybe a few more splatters and this cute little sailboat sticker. And that is it. So there is the finished page. And this was fun, playing around in Silhouette like this and kind of making my own cut files. So you can see the stitching there too. I love that scallop stitch. One of my favorite things to use on a watery like page. And the twine with the gold thread. And that mixed media background. So that is it for day 20, the last day of the summer Scrapin' series coming up tomorrow. Please go by and visit Claire and Lisa's channels, and thanks so much for watching today. Stay scrappy, friends.